Utagawa Hiroshige lived from 1797 to 1858 and rose from humble samurai beginnings to become one of Japan's most celebrated landscape artists.
This exhibition, the first of its kind at the British Museum and the first in London for over 25 years, showcases Hiroshige's art and enduring legacy through prints, drawings, books and paintings from the museum's collection, alongside a gift of 35 prints and additional loans from the collection of Alan Meadow, a major collector of Hiroshige's work, and further additional loans.
Hiroshige is renowned for his gentle, inviting views of the natural world and sights around Japan. Across 4 decades during the latter part of the Edo period, which ran from 1615 to 1868, Hiroshige conveyed a harmonious vision of nature, society, and culture working together through around 5,000 color woodblock prints, hundreds of commissioned paintings, and dozens of illustrated books. Hiroshige lived at a time when a samurai government ruled Japan from the city of Edo, or present-day Tokyo. It was a period of urban growth, but also of famine, social crisis, and foreign military incursions. Hiroshige, however, avoided depicting turmoil in his art. In his early career, he focused on the most common subjects for woodblock prints, such as actors, beautiful women, and views of Edo. Around 1832, he expanded his repertoire to include views across Japan. Here, his simple composition and use of bokashi, or printed gradation, in the sky, mountain, and water create a serene effect. His publisher at first issued only 3 designs in this series. As Hiroshige's fame grew, he commissioned 12 more.
The samurai government of the Edo period prohibited journeys abroad, but by Hiroshige's time there was a burgeoning interest in domestic travel. Samurai lords with hundreds of attendants made their way to Edo to pay their respects to the shogun. Others set off on business, pilgrimages, and sightseeing trips, independently or in organized groups. The most traveled highway in Japan at the time was the 500-kilometer Tokaido Eastern Coast Road. This connected Edo in the east with Kyoto, the emperor's capital, in the west. Its 53 post stations provided travelers with places to rest and stock up on supplies. Accommodation ranged from simple guest houses to luxury inns reserved for daimyo or samurai lords. From around 1833 until the end of his life, Hiroshige designed more than 20 series of prints on the Tokaido, around 700 works. In this design, from his most famous Tokaido series, a sudden rain shower at Shono Station pummels both travelers and the trees of the wild bamboo forest. Hiroshige almost manages to convey even the sound of the rain beating down. The print demonstrates his great capacity for uncovering human connection with nature.
Hiroshige's depictions of nature, especially his kacho hanga, or prints of birds and flowers, show his intuitive bond with the natural world. Many are inscribed with poems, reflecting the close connection between nature and poetry in Japanese culture, and the high level of literacy at the time. Hiroshige's kacho hanga contributed to a sudden flourishing of the genre in Japan from the 1830s and furthered his popularity. The rare early impressions displayed in the exhibition are preserved in excellent condition. They show the subtlety of Hiroshige's eye and his feeling for color. Their delicate detailing demonstrates the technical precision of the block cutter and printer. Here he depicts an owl napping on a pine branch and a cuckoo darting through the rain. They are separate compositions, but the pine needles extending between the 2 sheets indicate that they were cut into the same block and produced by the same publisher. The poem on the owl print is by one of Hiroshige's early patrons, Hachijin-te Kataki. It reads, "Sailing right along on a 3-day crescent moon, the long-eared owl longs for an earful of music. the pines humming in the wind.
Seeking relief from the sultry heat of summer, in a time long before air conditioning, Japanese people of Hiroshige's day turned to inexpensive, handheld fans that they could use and enjoy for a season and then discard. A popular type was the uchiwa, an oval fan on fixed ribs with a handle. Modern specialists in Edo period popular prints have concluded that Hiroshige produced well over 500 designs for uchiwa, far more than any other artist. The subjects range from urban views to classical narratives. Hiroshige made especially effective use of the synthetic pigment Prussian blue. The mass production of this pigment in China during the 1820s made it cheap enough for Japanese publishers to use in commercial woodblock prints. It is more vivid and versatile than natural pigments, and it does not fade. Hiroshige took advantage of its seemingly infinite capacity for subtle gradation to create fan designs reminiscent of ink paintings. Here, he depicts the classic female poet Ono no Komachi, active 800s, who in a time of drought offered to the gods a verse so skillfully composed that they permitted rain to fall, a refreshing subject for a summer fan. The combination of a waterside location, court lady holding a poem slip, servant with umbrella, and rainfall would have identified the episode for Hiroshige's contemporaries, even without a title. This is the only known surviving example of this design.
Hiroshige's print series, 100 Famous Views of Edo, published from 1856 to 58, brought new energy to views of the artist's city. The series covered almost every neighborhood, including areas that were not especially famous. Here, as the sun lifts above the horizon on a spring morning, the misty air over the plum garden at Kameido lights up a brilliant reddish pink. Hiroshige's striking composition, with enlarged foreground branches against a distant landscape, gives the viewer a privileged vantage point unavailable to those visiting the garden. British Museum scientists have been studying the history of this celebrated design from early to late editions. Using digital microscopy, X-ray fluorescence, and Raman spectroscopy, they analyze the pigments and look for evidence of fading. This is a superb early impression. Vincent van Gogh owned a later impression, which he traced in preparation for painting a copy in oils.
For artists in Japan and across the globe today, Hiroshige's work is a living legacy. It continues to inspire new ways of looking at, thinking about, and depicting daily life and the world in which we live. Digital artist Emily Allchurch traveled to Japan in 2009 and again in 2013 and took hundreds of photographs that she collaged together to evoke designs from Hiroshige's series 100 Famous Views of Edo. Like many other artists around the world, Allchurch finds Hiroshige's work to be a source of wonder and inspiration. She has said, "Hiroshige's capturing of everyday life in a period of huge social change speaks to me as an artist across time and culture." A remarkable display at Alternate near Tottenham Court Road Station in London is another wonderful example of contemporary artists finding inspiration in Hiroshige's enduring art.
Thank you for joining us on this brief journey with Hiroshige. In an unsettled period, he connected through his calm and balanced art with people from across contemporary Japanese society.
He speaks most clearly through the type of high-quality early impressions seen in this exhibition, and he remains the focus of ongoing creative and scientific discussion as artists and scientists in Europe, the US, and Japan continue to explore, adapt, and reinterpret his work.
We hope that you will enjoy the exhibition, tickets are now on sale, as well as a special display in the Mitsubishi Corporation Japanese galleries focusing on Hiroshige and other artists who traveled. Thank you again.